Hey guys, welcome to another video. I have a very cool deck profile to share with you guys today. It is Beetrooper Battlewasp. I've been very eager to share this list with you guys. I just haven't had the cards, and I'm still missing one card. I'm still missing Resonance Insect, so I am proxying that card, but otherwise I have everything, which is awesome. So super excited to share this with you guys. It's insects. Oh my god, I never thought that I would be building an insect deck, but Beetroopers just caught my attention. And along with all the other great insect standalone cards that we had, it's the glue. Beetroopers are the glue, and they brought it all together, along with the Battle Wasp card specifically as well. Just great insect cards, and now it is a fully functional deck. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys. And it's actually competitive. It's competitive. The only thing I would say that it's lacking is spell and trap negation. I feel like the counter trap should have been spell and trap negate because you could negate monster effects different ways. So, it's fine. It's for the first time for our first wave of support for Beetroopers. Amazing, awesome. Can't complain. It's very good. This deck surprisingly can definitely break boards going second. It just swarms the field very consistently, easily, especially after your first turn, like after turn 0. When you set up your interruptions, and then your opponent passes backs to you, you can easily OTK, and uh, you OTK through like a board, so you can like remove cards like with Unicorn and then Access Code and still be able to like have enough damage to OTK. Just amazing. It's so good. And then even if you can't OTK, you could still reestablish a board and just play the grind game, if anything. Let's get right into it, though. We have 3 Beetrooper Scout Buggy, we have 3 Bomber, and then 2 Lancer. These are the main deck Beetrooper cards. We have Scout Buggy. He's your starter. He summons. What's really cool is that he summons like any copy of himself from hand, deck, or grave. So he's always sort of live, which is awesome. Um, one thing that's pretty cool, right, is that I actually had an interaction where I normal summoned him, and then I used the effect to special summon. Then my opponent responded with Torrential Tribute. So what's really cool is after he got sent to the grave on resolution, I could just summon the same copy back from the grave. It's really cool that you're able to do that in case you just want to save copies in the deck. And then we have Bomber. Bomber's really cool because it chain blocks. So like your normal summons like Beetrooper Scout Buggy and Battle Wasp Sting the Poison, you can protect them from like Ash and Gamma, which is really cool. And plus that Ghost Ogre effect is pretty neat. It doesn't really come up, but it's really cool to have. And then we have Lancer. Lancer is just a great hand trap for the archetype, where you could disrupt the opponent by shuffling something back from their graveyard back to the deck. And then on summon, he searches any Beetrooper spell or trap, which is awesome. So that is it for the main deck Beetrooper monsters. Moving on, we have the Battle Wasps. This guy is by far my favorite monster in the main deck. We have Sting the Poison. Sting the Poison is not only your best starter, in my opinion, I feel like he's the best starter. He is also a disruption, so he actually serves multiple purposes in the deck. If I was playing like Halka Firebrax or like Synchros, he would serve a third purpose, being like a tuner. But he's still amazing. It's such a good card. You want to abuse this guy as much as possible. We have Bullseye. He's a level 1 insect Battle Wasp monster. What's really cool is that if you can control any insect, special summon him. He's an extender, and then he actually takes burn damage. He does burn damage, which is it can come up. I guess you could steal a match and potentially burn your opponent, and then like pass turn, and then if you're higher in life points, you got it. We have two Twinbow. Two Twinbow. Twinbow is he's actually a better extender than Bullseye because you don't need to control anything. You could control monsters, and you don't need to control any, like whether you control monsters or not. Sorry, I'm that's the way I should have phrased it. Whether you control a monster or not, you can special summon him, so he doesn't have any condition that needs to be met for him to be special summoned. The problem with Twinbow is that when you're going second and you're trying to link climb into cards like Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code, You can't, because once he's summoned, for the rest of the turn, you can't summon from the extra deck except insects, which is awful. Going first though, that effect is not relevant because all you're going to be summoning is insects. But that's why I like Bullseye more, is because going first or second, he won't lock you out, whereas Twin Bow will. Then we have Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is awesome. He's one of my favorite Battle Wasps. He's actually my second favorite, next to Sting. And the combo, Sting allows you to really combo off because you can search for Rapid Fire, and then you can easily gain access to an additional normal summon because of Armor Horn. So you can normal summon this guy, special summon Sting back, and then just continue to link climb, which is amazing. Also, when he gets destroyed in your possession, you could special summon any Battle Wasp from your deck, which is great. It's just so awesome to have these like really cool effects. So Battle Wasps are so good. The Beetroopers, we were almost there with insects. We just needed something else, and Beetroopers were it. So this is the card I'm proxying. It's 3 Resonance Insect. I think that's how you pronounce it. Resonance Insect. Broken card. When it's sent from field to grave, you search any level 5 or higher insect, and then when it's banished, you get to Foolish any insect monster. And of course, it's not a once per turn. That's what makes it so broken. This is one of the cards that it actually allows this deck to be very, very functional. Again, this isn't like, it's not like the Beetroopers were great. Without this card, they didn't really, complete the deck. It's all the other insect cards that we've had before that just came together. They finally aligned. For the extenders, we have 2 Primitive Butterfly. It's just an extender. If you control no monsters, you just special summon it. The level gain is not relevant whatsoever. Sometimes I'll special one, and then I'll Foolish the other one. If I, like with Resonance, I'll just Foolish the other one so I don't draw it. So it's not that big of a deal. 2's fine. And then we have 2 Worm Warrior. You banish any insect to special summon it from hand, which is cool because it triggers the Resonance, which is nice. Then Doomdozer. Doomdozer are awesome because this guy is what allows you to OTK on your following turn because he's 2800. And you start to resolve your Pico, which is the Inzektor link, to equip another Resonance from deck. And then Resonance will search you a Doomdozer. And then for the last 2 monsters, we have 1 Goki Pole. This allows you to add any level 4 insect monster from your deck to the hand. So you either add this Worm Warrior or you add a Resonance Insect because it is a level 4 insect that is also 1000 attack. And we do play Almirage in case you have those weird hands where you need to normal summon this and have no other extenders, but you're able to like link him off into Almirage and then kind of get your plays going. I'm not sure how relevant that is. Almirage might not be too needed, but I still need to test a bit more. So the last monster is Goki Boar. My man, Goki Boar, the legend himself. He's actually in the artwork of Goki Pole right there. I wanted to play this guy because he's a level 4 that you can add off Goki Pole. But he's also 1200 attack. Low attack is actually relevant, and you'll see why in a second. Goki Pole's effect reads that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you added a normal monster, you can special summon it. Then, you can destroy 1 monster on the field with attack greater than or equal to that special summon monster. That was a lot of text, but all that effect was one effect. It was all one effect. So if they do not ash this card on resolution of the effect, you will add this to hand, special summon it, and then destroy a monster with equal or greater attack. Does not target, may I add. This card is insanely broken when paired with this card because going second, if you send this card to the grave and you activate its effect to search, they have to hope, if the Yu-Gi-Oh player read the card, they have to hope that you do not play a vanilla. Because if you do play a vanilla and they were saving a negate, like a Boral Savage or an Appaloosa or whatever it is, on resolution you'll be able to pop that monster, which is absolutely broken. I definitely highly recommend you play a vanilla. Doesn't have to be Goki board, just has to be a vanilla that's level 4. That's insect as well. It just raises the ceiling so high for this card. For the spells, we have 3 Lightning Storm. I'm playing Lightning Storm because we need an equalizer. We need a card that is a great top deck, first of all, because in this deck, unfortunately, you can't afford to top deck bad cards. So we can't play like cards like, not that we can't play them, it just, I recommend that you don't play them. You can. It's not a bad thing, but playing Ash Blossom, playing Ghost Spell, stuff like that, these are cards that might not even be that impactful. They might not stop your opponent completely. So, and they'll play into triple tactics talent. So when you lose a card and you play into triple T and they look at your hand and they shuffle back another card. Is it shuffle or rip a card? No, it's shuffle back. Um, and so you're down 2 cards and they can still combo off. It's so terrible because this deck isn't super aggressive. It's not Dragon Link. Dragon Link has so many like power spells that get them so far ahead, whereas this deck, it does not have any power spells. It relies mostly on its monsters, and because of that, you need cards that are going to be great top decks. And Lightning Storm is definitely an amazing top deck because you can either clear back row or at worst you can trade a 1-for-1. So by that I mean that you can choose to call attack position monsters, and if they chain like a Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, a Boral Savage, something that negates like a Mechaba, whatever the case may be, it's a 1-for-1. You've gotten rid of that negate, so at least you're advancing your game state. Whereas if you top deck an Ash Blossom, you are starting with 5 cards in hand, which is so bad, especially for this deck, because this deck, as good as it is, it's not like, tier 1. So in my opinion, you definitely need like something that's going to be, again, a great top deck. And then going first, it's not that bad because you could just discard this card with Pico. So you could just use it as discard fodder. Next, we have 2 Multiplication of Ants. This card just tributes any insect and generates you 2 tokens. So it doesn't like really gain you like too much advantage. It's basically like a 2-for-2 because you're using the card, then you're tributing an ant, an insect to summon 2 tokens. So it's a 2-for-2, but again, it's putting another body on board, so you're able to get your play started. For the 1-ofs, we have 1 Beetrooper Formation. This is the field spell. It's actually a pretty decent field spell because it's a monster reborn, 4 Beetroopers every single turn. The only downside is that you take life points. You lose life points equal to the attack of the monster you summoned. Also, that monster cannot attack the turn that it's summoned. So just a few things to keep in mind. Not really a big deal because you're going to mostly be link climbing with those monsters. But again, just keep in mind that you can't attack with that monster. It's also a token generator. So it says if a face-up insect monster or monsters you control are destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Beetrooper token. And it's an Earth level 3. So that's pretty nice, I guess. Doesn't really come up too often, I want to say, just because this card isn't something that you're going to have access to turn 0. It's mainly like a follow-up play. But for the last 2 spells, we have Foolish Burial for the Goki Pole. It's mainly for the Goki Pole. You could send Resonance Insect if you want to. You could also send Battlewasp Sting the Poison if you could revive it. Just a few things to keep in mind. But mostly it's for Goki Pole. So you do have the option to extend, like going first, it's an extender, and then going second, it's an extender plus removal if they don't negate it. Then Monster Reborn for just a generic extender, just to revive anything from the graveyard. For the traps, we have 3 Infinite Impermanents. This is the only hand trap I run. Same reasoning as a Lightning Storm. It's a good top deck, so it's still live. Even if you draw it as your 6th card, also does not play into Tactics. Which is really nice, and like Called by the Grave or whatever. But yeah, that's mainly the reason. Again, everything that I mentioned about Lightning Storm applies the same to Infinite Impermanence. For the last 2 traps, we have the counter trap, Flying Sting, and then IO. Flying Sting, it negates monster effects. It's nice that it recycles itself pretty much every turn as long as you control an insect monster with 3,000 or more attack. And then while you control a Beetrooper monster on the field, you can, whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, while you control a Beetrooper, you can negate the activation. And if you do destroy that card, you can only activate 1 effect. So if you set it, during the end phase, and they like activate a monster effect during the end phase, you can't. Well, not you can't use it the same turn that it's set. Even if you had like multiples, is what I mean is you can't like set one and then use the other one to negate something. You can only use one effect per turn. And then IO, as I mentioned before, this deck lacks spell and trap negates. You need you don't need it, but you want it. You want to have something to stop spells, especially if you're going against decks that can play that like Shaddolls with Shaddol Fusion. When somebody uses their own Lightning Storm against you, you want to have cards that can combat that can negate those card effects. And IO is broken, especially because you don't really care about the spells in your deck. The only card that I feel like you care about really is Fire Formation. Like if you set this turn 0, you probably resolve this if you drew it, so it's not really relevant. And then if you top deck any of these, they're either going to be dead or they're not going to be as high impact. So IO definitely does not hurt you in the slightest. So definitely recommend playing one copy of IO. 40 card main deck. I feel like I haven't made a 40 card main deck. Oh, well, no, the Shaddol list that I put up. By the way, watch that video. If you are interested in Shaddol Invoked, I highly recommend you watch that video. It's pretty cool. Show you a nice combo and test hands as well. So moving on to the extra deck, we have, where's our link one? We play one All Mirage. The All Mirage, again, is for the wonky hands when you do open up like Resonance Insect and like not really too much going on with your hand. Like you don't open up like other extenders. You open up like you could normal summon Resonance Insect, go into this, and then just be able to trigger Resonance to search like Lancer, or and then that's all. Like if you just search the Lancer, that's an interruption at least. It's not really great, but you know you search Lancer and you could still like shuffle back your Resonance Insect and then shuffle back like a monster card in their grave back to the deck, and then on summon you'll get the search. So it's okay. Resonance Insect technically equals an interruption plus a follow-up. But it's I mean, like you could also, like if you also draw the Resonance Insect with like a Worm Warrior, which is the one that banishes any insect to special summon itself, you could trigger Resonance Insect by banishing it off this guy. And then, you know, get your play started that way. You could send Goki Pull searches. Again, I'm not sure how much it definitely, you know, it has come up. It just hasn't come up like as much as I thought it would. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a permanent slot in the extra deck. We have 3 Armor Horn. For now, I want to play 3 just because, like, if you do get into the grind game, you want to have access to 3. He's the one that allows you to extra normal summon, plus he serves as an extender. 2 very strong effects. Only effect I don't like is that they lock, while the Beetrooper Link monsters, Scout Buggy, while those 3 cards are on the field, you can't summon from the extra deck except insect monsters. One of my favorite cards in the extra deck by far is Pico, Inzektor Pico Felina. She's the one that tutors out your Resonance Insect, equips it to any other insect besides herself. She's your Union Carrier, which is really cool. She also can shuffle back any 3 insects back to the decks, including extra deck monsters, which is pretty nice, and then draw a card. So she's very, very good. And then we have Shinobi Insect. This card's actually pretty decent when you need to link climb and clear your field of like both your Beetroopers, and say like you get Nibiru'd, you could use a token. It takes any, you could even use Almiraj as well. It just takes any 2 monsters with different names, so it's a nightmare. It's not technically a nightmare, but I'm saying it's like a nightmare, you know, nightmare monster just without any good effects. Just the fact that you could use like any 2 monsters with different names is just nice. So you could link climb. The effect is not really relevant. I even forgot what it does. It just says, while this card points to a monster, your opponent monster cannot target this card. I'm not even going to bother reading it. You just need it for the generic link monster, and it's 2 monsters with different names. Nightmare Phoenix. I've seen deck profiles that have been playing strictly insect monsters in the extra deck, meaning they don't play any generic stuff like Unicorn, Phoenix. They don't play these cards because they're not insects. But the thing is, you can still link climb in this deck. especially going second. I'll show you during the combo what you can do on your following turn after you set up a board, and then when you're trying to push for game, what you can do, how easily it is to go into Unicorn, Phoenix, Access Code. I highly recommend, if you're playing this deck, put these cards in your deck. You're gonna thank me, especially when you come across cards I don't know, just like cards like Summon Limit, stuff like that, stuff that you need to get rid of. You want to have access to like Phoenix removal, generic removal, stuff like that. And then especially when you're going second, you're trying to break boards, you don't have access to like Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code. It's so much harder. You're crippled, and because you refuse to play these cards in your insect deck. Seraphim is actually a really nice link 3 in the deck. She allows you to gain more. You'll see in the combo. I'm going to summon her, and I'm going to show you what's so great about this card. But basically, her effects are on summon, she'll gain counters equal to the amount of insect monsters used for her link summon, and then you can remove one counter to special summon any insect from your grave. The only downside, you can only use one of those effects. So if you gain counters, you can't use the effect to remove a counter and special summon an insect in the same turn. I know that would be pretty busted, but I mean, it's insects. They could have like allowed her to use both effects in the same turn, and I think it would have been fine. But again, awesome card. And then we have the big boy himself. We have Atlas, Invincible Atlas. It's really cool. They call him Invincible Atlas, I guess because he has that protection. If he's 3,000 or less attack, can be targeted, can be destroyed by card effects. It's great that he has that protection. I would have liked if he was unaffected, to be honest. Like if he was unaffected instead. Again, beggars can't be choosers. So what's really cool is that he has the option, right? You can trade the protection for attack gain. So he can gain 2,000 attack until the end of the turn. So if you need to absolutely beat over something, it's nice he has the option to get big, get to 5k and attack over something. He can also tribute himself to special summon any Beetrooper from deck. So his effect is you can tribute any insect monster, but it's cool that he can tribute himself also, because he has that clause, right, where you can only special summon insects while he's face up on the field. So if you need to get rid of that, you can just send himself, which I do find myself doing. And then lastly, we have access code for the Link 4, and then we have Cicada King. Cicada King is just 2 level 3 monsters, and it negates monsters when they activate on field, and then it changes an insect's battle position, and then if it changed battle position, it'll revive an insect from the graveyard, which is awesome because it'll serve as a negate, and then it'll give you another negate with Sting the Poison if you special back Sting the Poison. And then Access Code Talker, this card's amazing in this deck because you have light, you have dark, you have earth with Beetroopers. You also have fire if you have the Almiraj in the grave. So you'll have plenty of different attributes to use for its effects. So you could pop like a bajillion cards and then be able to attack for game. That is it for the deck profile, guys. Let's get into a combo tutorial. Alright guys, here we go. First, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please give me your feedback, and if you enjoyed the deck profile and the combo tutorial, please let me know, and consider subscribing as well and liking the video. Thank you guys so much. So here we go. First combo tutorial we have is going to involve Sting the Poison being the absolute best starter in the deck. And then any extender, right? Any insect extender. Plus, you need a card to discard. So this card could be anything. We just need a card to discard. So your extender, your starter. So it's basically a 2-card combo, 2.5 cards because we need something to discard. So let's start off. Because we control no monsters, we're going to summon Primitive Butterfly. And next we're going to follow it up. We're going to normal summon the Sting. We're going to activate Sting the Poison to search our Rapid Fire. So that is the level 4 monster right here. Next we're going to go into a link. We're going to link summon to our link 2, our Armor Horn. And after that, Armor Horn is going to allow us to normal summon once again. One thing I did forget to mention, another thing that is sort of a weakness that I do dislike, this card has to activate for you to additionally normal summon. I wish that it was sort of like a continuous effect. These are just small things that I feel like were not necessary. Like, it wasn't necessary for this card to say that, let me read the card to you. The card reads, it says, during your main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one insect monster. It didn't need to say that. It could have just said, while this card's face up on the field, you can, once per turn, you can normal summon one, like, in addition to your normal summon. It didn't need to say after this effect resolves. So that means it's an activated effect, which means it can get like gammaed. It could get gammaed, which sucks. But it's okay. I digress. We're going to activate the effect to normal summon. We're going to normal summon the rapid fire. We're going to trigger the rapid fire to summon back our Sting the Poison. Next, we're going to link into our Inzektor Pico Felina. On summon, we're going to use Pico Felina's effect. We're going to discard to target the Armor Horn to equip our Resonance Insect. Now here, unfortunately, we don't have enough resources in the grave to be able to shuffle back. Well, we can shuffle back 3, but then we can't summon back Armor Horn. So we do value the special summon of Armor Horn more than we do the draw of the shuffle back and the draw 1. In addition to that, we want Sting the Poison to stay in the grave for this particular combo. So we're not going to use the effect to shuffle 3 back and draw 1. We're just going to go into our Link 4, the Big Daddy, I almost said Inzektor, the Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. We're going to trigger the effect of our Resonance Insect. Since it was sent from field to grave, we're going to search our first disruption, which is going to be Sting Lancer. Next, we're going to use the effect of Armor Horn. We're going to banish 3. So we're going to banish the Primitive Butterfly. We're going to banish the Resonance Insect. And then we're going to banish Pico Felina, making sure that we keep these 2 cards in grave, being Sting the Poison and Rapid Fire. So the 2 Battle Wasps, keep them in the grave. And we're going to special summon the Armor Horn. Resonance Insect is going to trigger because it was banished. We're going to send the Legend Goki Pole, and then Goki Pole is going to add us Goki Boar. Goki Boar is just going to serve as a free extender on resolution. Because we add our normal monster, we're just going to special summon him. Now we're going to use the effect of Atlas. We're going to tribute the Goki Boar to special summon our second copy of Sting the Poison. Now Sting the Poison is going to trigger on summon to search us the Counter Trap, Fly, and Sting. We're almost done. We're going to link into a Link 3 using Armor Horn and Sting Lancer into Seraphim. Seraphim is going to gain 2 counters since we use 2 insects. Now we're going to set Fly and Sting, our counter trap, and we're going to pass it to our opponent. During their draw phase, we're going to use the effect of Seraphim. We're going to shotgun and special summon Sting the Poison. Great thing, Seraphim does not negate the effects of whatever insect that is summoned, so we're going to trigger the effect of Sting the Poison to search us a bullseye. So that way it gives us a follow-up. We have an extender for next turn. And what's really cool about this board is we have 1, 2, 3 disruptions plus plenty of follow-up. So we're going to use the effect whenever our opponent activates like a monster effect on field, or we could even hold it until they have something threatening. We can use the effect of Sting the Poison to tribute Seraphim to target a monster they control and negate its effects. We have the counter trap to negate an additional monster effect, and then if they try to do some like graveyard stuff, we could use the effect of Sting Lancer to target an insect in our grave. I'll just target the Goki Pole to shuffle it back, and then target a monster they have in their grave and shuffle it back. Then on summon, Sting Lancer will trigger. And we will search ourselves a Beetrooper formation, which is a field spell that is an extender. It's a monster reborn every single turn. So with that being said, now that we've disrupted our opponent 3 times, if they're playing a combo deck, chances are this did some fairly decent damage. Say worst case, well, worst case they clear everything, but I feel like it's not realistic for them to clear Invincible Atlas. It's more realistic to clear these 2. And then I'll show you guys what you can do after this. So now we have, now that our opponent's past turn, we have so much to work with. So now we're going to draw for a turn. Okay, we draw Monster Reborn. I'm going to flip this face down because it's not relevant that it's a Monster Reborn. We're going to activate the effect of Atlas. We're gonna send itself. We're gonna tribute itself. We're gonna summon Scout Buggy, and then Scout Buggy is gonna summon another copy of itself. We're gonna use the effect of Bullseye. Bullseye is gonna take 200 damage. Now we're gonna link 2 into the second copy of Pico. And then on summon, we're going to use the card that we just drew to discard as discard fodder to target the Bullseye, and we're going to equip a Resonance Insect. Now we're actually going to shuffle 3. We're going to use the shuffle 3 effect. We have so many insects. And we're going to shuffle our one-of. So we're going to shuffle Goki Boar. We're going to shuffle Rapid Fire, and we could shuffle back... since we have both Sting Lancers, we're going to shuffle back a Sting Lancer. Since we have... we ran out of the Sting Lancers in the main deck, so we want to have access to one at least. So we're going to draw a card. We drew an extender. Again, I'm going to flip this face down because it's not relevant. I don't want you to depend on your draws. You have everything that you need to OTK on your following turn. So now we're going to go into a Link 3. Now we're going to be able to start breaking our opponent's board. So if they established any sort of board, then now we have to push through, right? We have to push through and go for game. So now we're going to activate the effect of Resonance Insect. We could go Resonance Insect, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Nightmare Unicorn, discard the random card, target a card they control, shuffle it back. With Resonance Insect, now we're going to search Doomdozer. So Doomdozer is how you want to push for game. It's going to give you enough damage. Even though you have Fire Formation, so I think you would have had enough damage anyway. But you actually want Doomdozer to banish your Resonance Insect, which we're going to do right now. So we're going to banish this, and any other insect will just banish the Bullseye. Resonance Insect is going to trigger. Now, if we need to break, up our opponent's board apart even more, we could send Goki Pole, and then we could summon the Goki Boar, and then on resolution summon Goki Boar and break our opponent's board that way. But again, you're going to have so many pops with the access code that's not going to be necessary. So in this case, I'm going to search a worm, the Worm Warrior, because it is an effect monster, and we need effect monsters to be able to link climb into access code. Basically, I'm just holding this card because if say this doesn't go through and our opponent stops it somehow, we can still activate this to summon back the Atlas, and then end phase we're able to banish an insect monster to reset this. So we're able to re-establish something if this all gets stopped. Say they Nibiru us through this, we're still able to establish something, if that makes sense. So anyway, let me continue. We're gonna banish any other insect. So we could banish one of the Scout Buggies to summon this guy, and then we're going to link 4 into the access code, and then access code is going to target the Unicorn, and now we have a Dark, we have another Dark, we also have a Wind, and then if we need to, we could also banish an Earth. So we have at least 3 pops with access code, and then you'll make sure you attack with access code first, because Doomdozer's effect to mill the top card of your opponent's deck when he deals damage is mandatory. It's not an optional effect. And what really sucks is that if you're playing against Shaddolls and they just happen to mill a Wendy or something like that, you basically threw the game because you did not attack with access code first. So you want to make sure that you attack with access code first and then finish it with Doomdozer. That way the mill will not be relevant at that point. And again, say for example, say for some reason they don't die through this, they save themselves somehow, you can still activate Fire Formation to special summon your Atlas, and then during the end phase you'll be able to banish any insect to set back the Fly Sting. So you're still going to be able to at least establish something, another monster negate with Atlas having that protection. It's just really cool. It's really cool. That was done with Sting the Poison plus any extender and anything to discard. The other 2 additional cards that we had in hand were not even relevant. It just so awesome how you can generate negates and then generate a lot of enough advantage to OTK your opponent next turn. So I thought that was pretty cool. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't want to make the video too short, too long. I did want to show you guys another combo, but if anything, I can do a test hand video, maybe something a bit more realistic where we're just like going through test hands and playing with full 5 card hands, and giving you guys a better idea of how to play the deck when you draw like different cards. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.